Hi, I'm PK Beats, the guy. And in this series I go to the Smash Wiki, look around its trivia section, and talk at you about some of the stuff from it so that you can stay entertained while you eat, or whatever else you'd be doing. Let's start off with some fun Mario Galaxy stuff, especially regarding how its curves weirdly affect certain items. For some things the curvature has no effect, like how the rolling crate doesn't just go rolling away, although sometimes it does have momentum, it's weird. But here, with certain battering items, if you drop them in just the right way, they land upside down. No, this is not normal. On a flat stage, they just stick right back up, even if that correction is slightly awkward looking. And on this curvy terrain, that's still how most items interact. The only item I tested that was really easy to get upside down was lipstick, which took hardly any finesse. Though after a lot of struggling, I did manage to get it not only with the fire bar, but also the ore club, neither of which was particularly consistent or easy. There's just so many potential RNG elements with the exact positioning on the slope, and your exact height and momentum when you drop it, and all the other physics stuff. So it's kinda hard to know exactly which items this can and can't work for, but at the very least there's potential for it working with even more things. And yeah, this is generally how it works on the Windy Hill Zone stage's slopes as well. I had a much harder time getting it to happen with those other two items, so your mileage may vary, but once again, lipstick was super easy at least. Also, adding onto this prompt is just a mention of how normally when Simon or Richter throws their holy water in the air, it'll spin as it falls down, which is like very normal and unremarkable. But if you do this on Mario Galaxy, there's a noticeable lack of spin now. And once you see how jarring it looks, it's hard to unnotice that. It's just so awkward. Once it hits someone, or slams against a shield, it starts spinning again, and if you catch it and rethrow it as an item, it also goes back to normal, which is nice and not stupid like this is. Oh, and yeah, again, this is how it works on Windy Hill Zone too. I love this game, what a great way to spend my time. Now, how about another game that's a great way to spend your time with? Having rich tactical gameplay, awesome boss battles, and hundreds of champions. I really like Fodboar the Bard, one of the epics that I rolled, since I love both dwarves and bards. Yeah, that's right, this is all Raid Shadow Legends, a free-to-play game available on mobile and PC featuring tons of different ways to play, such as dungeons, where you get materials to create champions, campaigns where you can level up your champions, arenas where you can participate in PvP, and clans where you can play together with other players. I even made my own clan called Bass Pro Shop, which is just awesome. It's not uncommon for games like this to have a decent variety of champions or characters to really choose from. Any good game like this will have that. But Raid really stands out not only in its sheer quantity, but also being paired with its quality. Each design really stands out from the others, which is something a lot of high fantasy-esque fiction struggles to do. And with holidays right around the corner, that means extra content. The Cursed City update is one of Raid's biggest updates in a long time, featuring 100 stages to complete, topped full with raid bosses, and a chance at a mythical champion. And alongside that is the Christmas Story event, a holiday-themed event where you can follow Sir Nicholas through a story and participate in special tournaments and see other surprises, also with a chance to win in-game prizes like epic and legendary champions, and even real-life prizes like Amazon gift cards. All you need to do is go to raidxmas.com. So if you're not already a Raid Shadow Legends gamer, click my link in the description or scan the QR code that has been in the top corner this entire time, and you'll get 2 whole epic champions by using my link. Those are Lightsworn, who'll help keep your team alive with revives and defense buffs, and Juliana, who's based more around attacking and is ultra powerful against enemies with affinity. And once you have both of those, you can even join my awesome Bass Pro Shop clan. My username is PKBeatsGaming for your information. So again, just hit that link down in the description, and let's continue on with the video. Now, I was hoping to continue on with Mario Galaxy prompts here, as the trivia section mentions how at precise camera angles, you can see inside of the STARSHROOMS, which are actually fully modeled. That's super cool, right? A STARSHROOM being the mushroom-shaped ship that Captain Toad rides around in the game. So, you know, I just sat there waiting for one of these STARSHROOMS to show up, and I waited, and I waited, and, wait, where is it? The Smash Wiki doesn't mention this being a Smash 4 specific background feature, and the Mario Bros. Wiki specifically mentions Smash Ultimate as a game that has these, but where did it go? I started scouring random gameplay footage from this stage to see if I could pinpoint them anywhere in the background, and no, not a single video I watched had a mushroom ship here. And I watched the videos dating back as far as like 3 years ago. And here's what that looks like in the background from Smash 4. I wasn't sure if this was suddenly and inexplicably one of those things that needed like some kind of specific character or background music to appear properly, but putting on a Captain Toad song, nor including a character like, I don't know, Peach or whatever, did anything at all, and neither did playing on the Omega or Battlefield versions of the stage, so I don't know. I swear, I left my game on at a 1.5 times speed in training mode for like 10 minutes and I didn't catch any signs of these ships. I know they're not the biggest deal in the world, but they're pretty close, like a top 5 biggest deals in the world at least. So the fact that this isn't being talked about more makes me wonder if there's something obvious I'm missing? Maybe they're like the Picori and only people of pure hearts can see them now? Anyone pure-hearted watching me, first off, I'm sorry. Second, let me know if you can see anything back there for me, like I'd just love to know. Because man, I wanted to show off the awesome, totally modeled interior of these STARSHROOMS, but I guess I just not allowed to, oh well. Now, was that really a good enough topic to make the focus of the title and thumbnail of this video? I don't know, you tell me, you're the one who clicked on it. I'm just doing whatever nowadays. Channel's been around for 5 years, let's just go with the flow, I don't know. Oh yeah, that 5-year anniversary actually happened like a week ago from now. So that's a pretty recent milestone. A whole half-decade of this channel being a thing is pretty awesome. So to celebrate, as I usually do this time of year anyways, I'm doing an end-of-the-year Q&A as my final upload of 2023. I'll leave a link to the community post and tweet where you can comment your question. Doing them there will make it a lot easier for me to organize, so feel free to ask me anything and I'll try to get to as many as I can. I'm debating whether or not I should make that a live stream or just edit it like I normally do, but I'll think on that. Next, the Fourside Wiki mentions how, on the rightmost building of the stage, you can actually see an orange shirt on a clothesline with some sunglasses on them, a combination which heavily resembles the character Everdread, which is a nice little detail. And on top of that, or rather next to it, is this tiny water tower which bears a striking resemblance to the house design of the Mr. Saturns, which is a very interesting way to reference that, but I appreciate it. Once again, I just love looking at the little details of a stage like this, pinpointing things you'd never see during the heat of battle. Like here, if you look really closely, you can see, oh my god, it's Ness from Smash. Also, another thing the wiki points out is how some of the buildings actually have textures inside, like this room on the main Monopoly Tower. Also, yeah, I know in Japanese it would be pronounced monotori, which is like the word for thief, you know, which is a really good pun, but I always pronounced it similar to the word monopoly, you know, monopoly, monopoly, which I feel like gives off a similar vibe, but or whatever, you don't even care. Anyways, this room being textured isn't weird because it's surrounded by windows, which is meant to be slightly transparent, as, you know, windows are, so you should be able to like see into it. But if you're like me, first off, hey there handsome, and second, it probably only ever looked like it reflected the busy outdoor light ambiance and nothing else, like these windows in the back do. So it's cool to know that there's actually a visible room in here. And on top of that, or rather next to it, again, the apartments to the right of this tower also have rooms fully visible through their windows. This is only the case for the top 2 floors, as the rest just seem to show basic static window images, but you know, it's the little things. Also, for when the stage appeared in the E3 2018 Direct, rest in peace E3 by the way, you could see the skyscraper that had the word department going along its side, which is now gone. I mean, the building is still there, but the text isn't anymore. In the old footage, the text went down vertically on the side of the building, much like the Monopoly text, so it kind of fit. But looking at the actual department store in Fourside, the text isn't printed on the side of the building like that, rather is on the entrance written horizontally, though we also can't see that in the Smash version. But also, trying to pinpoint accuracy between the stage and the town is just stupid, because as much as the stage is a great vibe, it's not even slightly close to being similar to how Fourside is presented in Earthbound. I mean, maybe that means it's more like Moonside, which it's actually kind of cool to think about, but whatever. Okay, I'm sick of stages. Let's talk about not stage things, starting at the wiki for Cuckoos, which brings up how the model used for them in Smash comes from their appearance in Twilight Princess. You might think that this is just what any Cuckoo generically looks like, but you can see that their appearance in all games, 2D and 3D, have just their normal white feathers surrounding their eyes, whereas this Cuckoo has red around it, a feature only found in Twilight Princess and the Link's Awakening remake, the latter of which having way more than the version we see in Smash. So yeah, this is definitely the Twilight Princess bird. This is actually incredibly silly when you think about it. Why? Well, the Cuckoos appear in like 14 mainline games or something, and in all of these games, as you're obviously familiar with, if you attack the Cuckoo enough times, they'll summon the fan called Cuckoo's Revenge Squad down to attack you violently in a raging storm of feathers and probably poop. All of the games, except for Twilight Princess. Yeah, in Twilight Princess, the Cuckoos don't ever actually end up attacking you, and what actually happens is you just eventually gain control of the Cuckoo for a bit. I mean, this version of Link is a farmer, so I guess he's just better at taming animals, I don't know. So in other words, the Cuckoo in Smash, whose only use as an item is to call forth one of these Revenge Squad hurricanes, takes its model from the only game in the series where the Cuckoos don't have a Revenge Squad. This is amusing in a simple, meaningless, fun kind of way, but it also makes it especially strange how out of all the Zelda assets they updated from Twilight Princess going into this game, the Cuckoo didn't get changed to its, I don't know, its Breath of the Wild version or anything. Though if you're asking me, the biggest sin was not giving the Cuckoo that hovering mechanic that they're so well known for. Not that it would have had really any effect in a platform fighter, but hey man, I'm just thinking of the real important balance changes for the future installments, okay? Also random, but I was wondering what the full Revenge Squad animation looked like, and it's really funny seeing the start of a Cuckoo spawning in. They change its size in order to make it look as if they're coming from afar or something, but they're really not that far in the background at the start when they appear. So really, you just got a super tiny baby chicken nugget here, which is just adorable. Sticking with Cuckoos, in the Smash 4's Smash Run game mode, the Cuckoos actually appear as an enemy, doing so in their full 2D sprite form from A Link to the Past. Despite the fact that this game has the Cuckoo item in its full 3D model, on top of the normal item appearance though, the Smash Run version of the Cuckoo has its own trophy, and this trophy also uses a 3D model version of the Cuckoo, this one being from Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. Now as far as I know, there's nothing concrete about this, but the fact that the trophy is 3D, but the in-game appearance is 2D, does potentially suggest that they downgraded the graphics in order to decrease the strain on the 3DS. This wouldn't be the first time something like this happened. There's not a ton of coverage of it now, but apparently it's been confirmed that the Flying Man on the Magic Hand stage was going to be 3D, but was flattened for those same reasons. I can't find full scans of this magazine screenshot, so it's hard to check the translation myself, though I do see the word fuka here, which means like burden, and anyone who's apparently seen higher resolution versions can confirm that this decision was due to hardware stuff, so there you go. Also, it's been a lot more publicly discussed that the Ice Climbers weren't in the game because of the 3DS not being able to handle them, so there's certainly plenty of precedent for the idea. Though if you're asking me, regardless of reason, I think having 2D sprites looks way more stylized and interesting anyways, so I'm glad that they kept that look when porting over Magic Hand into Smash Ultimate. Now, if only they'd port over Smash Run too. Like, if I'm being honest, I'd buy a whole game that was like just Smash Run but for the Switch, but no, we got Stinky World of Light instead. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that. Sticking to the topic of 2D stuff, let's talk about the HOThead. This is a true 2D object in the game, unlike Game & Watch, who's flat but not really 2D. Like, he's just given a flat filter of sorts, but he's still a 3D model, which is easiest to see in certain grabs or final smashes like here with Terry, where his model still properly shifts as if it was 3D. I know I've gone over this one a lot on my channel by now, but that's also because I call Game & Watch 2D a lot when I'm really just mixing up the word for flat because I'm a stupid little idiot. Like, they're kind of different, but the same, you get it. The HOThead, however, isn't flat, but instead just constantly stares at you, like it knows you struggle with eye contact during conversations and wants to make you extremely uncomfortable. It's the same effect as other PNG items like the food here. Within the confines of the Smash series, the HOThead is just always like this, and yet its trophy in Brawl is a bit different. Sure, when you rotate it, that graphic doesn't really look like it's moving, but hey, the eyes sure are. So this is kind of a different visualization of the HOThead than we'd be used to, which is doubly interesting given that the trophy for the food items does retain its 2D form when rotated. I mean, obviously the HOThead is an enemy from Mario and thus is meant to have more of its own identity, but given how they'd only ever had 2D appearances in this series, it still would have checked out to keep them 2D, but I digress. Actually, no, that wasn't a digression, that was perfectly on topic. Anyways, more 2D stuff. Did you know that the bees are also 2D? Once again, the true kind not being just flat. This is another example of how looking at things through the camera can be surprisingly insightful. For one, I honestly didn't even know that the bees looked all cutesy like this. I was expecting it to be the model from Animal Crossing or something akin to it, which is to say, just kinda normal. Like a cartoon style, but still normal. Also, the perspective on these can get really weird. Like, this bee here is very clearly in the foreground, in front of this bee behind it, right? And yet the bee further back is layered over the bee in the foreground, which is just really, really confusing to try and look at. I mean, I guess it definitely gets across the idea of a swarm and how chaotic it is, but... Oh, and not a Smash thing, but like, it's interesting how this has only started being called a wasp nest from New Horizons, and I imagine onwards, if you're watching from the far future. With these being wasps rather than bees. They haven't really changed their appearance or aggression, so it's more like they've been wasps this entire time in actuality. So really their appearance in Smash should be wasps too. I mean, I guess you could say that they technically are, regardless of their name, but I still think it's a sin to make wasps have cute eyes, but maybe that's more of a me issue. Wasps and bees are just different things. They're a different family of insect and they have like different specifications for what they have. Like bees have body hairs, which helps them cling to pollen, I think. And the thing is, I'm not even sure if it's right to call all of them a B, even as just a colloquialism. Like, sometimes the language can get away with that kind of thing, but I don't think it's fine here. I don't know. Also, fun fact, there is something like this in Japanese with the word hachi, which encompasses bees, wasps, and hornets all together. Though in New Horizons they keep the word hachi, rather than changing it up like how English goes from bee to wasp, so I think that word is more naturally used for the general concept of a bee-like thing, and that's okay for them to do, while in English the difference is a lot more important to specify. I don't know, language and taxonomy stuff is crazy, so I think I'll just leave the ramble there, as well as end the video. Again, feel free to leave a comment on my community post or tweet regarding my Q&A. That'll be the last video I make for the year, like I usually do. If you're not interested in that, or you hate me, then that means this will be my last video of the year for you. In which case, thank you for the support, and I hope to see you again in 2024. And in the meantime, I hope everyone has a great holiday season, doing whatever it is that you do. Also, another thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. It really helps out a lot this time of year, and I really appreciate it. Again, link in the description and QR code to scan right here. New players can get some bonuses, and everyone can get some cool champions. Just click the link in the description. And I'd also like to thank my lovely patrons Raighne, Burbo, Still700, SpiderJew, and everyone else for the support. Stay casual, and I'll see y'all later.